All right. Hey, everybody. We'll let people hop on as they can and record this, but just kind of nothing too crazy formal here, but wanted to get on a chat with you guys. I had some requests just from individual people for something like this, but I know Tiffany has, and so I just thought it'd be fun to get together with in a small group with us and just chat with you guys. And if you have, again, like it's informal, so if you guys have questions that you just want to pop in the chat as we're talking, feel free to do that too. We do have some questions that were brought up that we're going to talk about too, and just kind of what's going on this month too. So yay. Tiff, you want to say anything? I'm Jaime Haskin. I think most of y'all probably know me.
Yes, and Tiffany Wilson. No, I mean, we can start with the questions and just kind of talking about some different things we wanted to touch on tonight.
Okay. So part of what was asked to kind of maybe touch base on is kind of like at the beginning of our journeys, maybe some ups and downs and things that we've overcome and things like that. So for, I don't know, Tiff, do you want to go first or me? We didn't plan it out. Tiff, why don't you start since you started first?
Yes. Okay. So everybody knows by now, I'm sure. Some of you, I think, are probably new. So the beginning of our journeys are all going to look a little different. A lot of you, I think, know my story, so I won't talk too much about that, but kind of just going through my journey and what that looked like. I think a lot of it, just talking about fear, belief, doubt, those things. In the beginning, I know some of you on here are new. And in the beginning of my business, there was, I got a lot of negativity about the products. I had somebody that contacted my mom telling her that I was going to kill myself because the products, I was going to get so skinny. So there's all that stuff that, the negative self-talk in the beginning. And the most important thing is to, at any point in your business, to be pushing past that. And mindset has been such a huge part of my journey. And that's why we talk about your mind so much, your personal growth, all of those things, because that's how I got to, that's how Jaime and I both got to where we are now at Diamond, was through that. And I think just as hard as it might seem for a lot of people, not letting that get to you or bother you, and knowing, the silver linings in everything. And we can talk more a little bit about that, go into some more questions, but
and if I think off that, Tiff, I definitely had seen that too, because when I started, it was a small town community and we had people sharing, and there was definitely things said that was not nice and whatever else, and how you push past that, how you do, get through some of the negativity is, I think, kind of having the blinders on, and just, it's a choice. It doesn't mean it doesn't maybe affect you. It doesn't mean you can't go there. You can, but it's a choice to have your blinders on and what you're going to focus on. So we all have choices every day, what we are going to focus on in terms of life, in terms of this business, in terms of anything. And what I love about this is our community, and if you choose to, you can be as plugged into this community as possible, whether it's your upline, whether it's the team calls, book club, all the things. And that is what surrounds you. If that's what surrounds you and that's the positivity, then you can have your blinders onto some of that stuff. You can choose to not even be there, not focus on it, whatever, because you have the support. You're not doing it alone. So I think that was massively huge. I think I'm naturally positive in general by nature, and I know for everybody that's not the case, but I didn't even I just didn't go there. It just was well, okay, I don't know what's going on over there. I don't care. I'm not going to get involved in that. This is where I'm at, and I was surrounded by that positive culture. So that helped. And I think that's tools and things that you need to consciously decide to do.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you I was not positive. I can tell you the Tiffany that you know now is not the Tiffany that I was. I was very negative. I had 174 friends on Facebook. I would, meet people, and then I would literally unfriend them on Facebook. It's the strangest thing. I don't even know what to say about that personality type. But So there was a lot, but the thing was, you know, Fallon, when I started, she's like, this girl genuinely, though, you could see she cares about people, she's fun, you know, so there was a lot of personal growth that I had to go through in my business. And like a lot of the things that Jaime said, just overcoming those and focusing. There's a lot of good books that really helped me. What to Say When You Talk to Yourself was one. Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Carolyn Leaf, that was another. But just like Jaime said, it's a choice. So every day it's a choice to whether we want to be thankful at where we're at and where we're going, or whether we want to stay back by fear and, you know, by being comfortable, not wanting to get out of our comfort zone. So I'm happy you brought that up, Jane. So what else do we have?
Keeping a gratitude journal, if that's something you struggle with, I think is huge. Like writing in a gratitude journal.
Yes. Yep, I have mine over here.
Any overcoming stories, overcoming slumps, overcoming fears, that kind of stuff, Tiff?
Gosh, I mean, I think for me, it's really was overcoming excuses. Some of you may know, some of you may not. In the beginning of my business, about 4 months in, well, it was a few months, and then a few months I started sharing later, and 4 months in, I had lost my stepsister to breast cancer. And that was a choice that I used to, you know, I grieved, but at the same time, I used that to push me forward in my business. So I think, again, knowing that you're going to hit rough patches in your business and you're going to be in that moment where you can either make a choice. You can make a choice to be stronger and see the communities that you can affect on the other side of that, or you can make a choice to be stuck in that situation. And so, you know, that was 4 months into my business. And then, of course, many of you know, 2 years into my business, again, I was a sapphire at 2 years. And 2 years into my business, my son was diagnosed with lung cancer at 8 months old. And I mean, I always try not to cry when I talk about it, but I mean, that was something, y'all, like, if you haven't been there yourself, there's no emotion to describe that. But I can tell you, I have met the most beautiful community of women. Vanessa's on here. God, you know, not that these things happen, but these situations have been placed in my life for reasons. And I could have literally stopped my business and chose the excuses to not go on with my business at that point, because I had fear that had crippled me. I had a lot that I had to overcome in those moments. And again, I said to myself, okay, no, I'm going to do this. I see that there's people and there's another purpose to this, and there's lives out there to impact and more blessings. And I carried through that. And so, you know, maybe your situations aren't as, I mean, those are pretty strong, you know, situations and circumstances, but maybe yours are just, you know, you're just taking care of your kids and you're run down, or you have anxiety, or just, you know, all of life's things. You have money problems and all of those things, and you're just trying to find a way to get out of bed every day. And so I think that, you know, going back to your why, the reasons you're doing this, the reasons that I was sharing Plexus when my son was diagnosed and my stepsister passed away, all of those moments. So you are going to have, you know, all of those things to overcome in your business. If you haven't yet, you know, there probably will be a time that you will, and it's going to be up to you what you're going to do. But I think one of the biggest things too that I talk about a lot is just having a rock solid why, and why you are doing this, because that is going to be what's getting you up every day. And we might talk about it a lot, but like, you really need to know this. Like, this is what you need to know, and know that it's always going to be evolving. You're always it's going to change. Mine has gone from, you know, wanting to pay for a Christian education, to my husband retiring out of the military, to just wanting to freely give back to communities with childhood cancer and all of those. So it's okay that that evolves, and it's good that that evolves. It means your goals, your dreams, all of that is evolving too. So definitely I did some training with corporate on that too, just kind of about, if we have time then, but there's ways that you can really get to a deeper why. So I don't want to take up too much more time, but if we have some time at the end, we can talk about it more too, but yeah.
Yeah, that's important, because if you don't have a reason to do it, it's so easy to let the excuses pass, right? Well, this XYZ is coming up today, so I'll just do this tomorrow. I'll just do this the next day. Or I don't feel like doing this. But it's a commitment. It's the why. And I promise you, every jewel, every diamond has been through massive struggles at times too. So if you feel, whether you in the past, now, or maybe in the future, it's going to be you where you're just kind of on the struggle bus, or frustrated with whatever, everyone's been there. But it's what you're going to do to that that's going to define you. It's what you're going to do and how you're going to push through that. And I would say that's with anything in life, you guys. If you're going through a struggle with your kids or whatever, how hard are you going to fight tooth and nail to help your child, or to help your friend, or whatever it may be in life? So that's personal. That's who you are at your core too in other areas. So why not for this too? If you have that vision, if you have that belief, if you have that why for this future, and if you don't, then we need to find it, so let's talk. But this is something worth fighting for you, and whatever that is, like discovering that why and deeper down, not just a paycheck. What does that paycheck mean to you? And the things that Tiffany can go into more later. But what else was I gonna say? Yeah. but it's a daily. That's what's going to define you, and that's what I was gonna say. It's treating it like a business. This isn't, it's not, if you treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay like a hobby. If you treat it like a business, it's a business. So business owners are showing up. They're doing the things. I don't care if you're tired. You don't just get to not show up at work, right? So it's treating it like a business. We have more freedom than that, but it's treating it like a business.
Mm-hmm. We have some questions there too.
Yeah, I was just looking.
So I guess, I can touch really quick on your why. That was part of the training. Should I go ahead and just talk about that really quick? It shouldn't be long, but, sorry, I couldn't hear you. And now, okay, my phone. Okay, so there's, and some of you might have seen it again, some of you are new, but there was, really good training, and we did this at the thing. It was by, I think it was Dean Grazioso's, and it was like 7 layers deep. And so I don't know if anyone's maybe heard of that or shaking their head. I was looking here. But so he basically talks about and he does real estate stuff. So he's not anything with network marketing or anything like that. But he talks that with the 7 levels, like you're saying, okay, that's great. So you want to retire your husband, Tiffany. So why do you want to retire your husband? Well, I want my husband to be home more. Okay, so that's nice. You want your husband to be home more. So why do you want your husband to be home more? Well, I want him to be home more so he can spend more time with our kids. Okay, so you want him to be home more so he can spend more time with your kids, but why? Well, because, I don't want him to deploy. Okay, so now you're getting to another level. So you don't want your husband to deploy and then be away from you and the family. And so why don't you want him to be away? And then, so that's, then that's me thinking, and I'm like, I don't want him to miss, he missed the first year when I was pregnant with our first daughter. He missed most of that pregnancy. And, gosh, I don't want him to miss all of those special moments and the things and the kids growing up and all of that. And you can see where even me starting to talk about that, it brings emotion up for me. It's me digging deep into why I want that. And it's the same when you ask me well, that's great. You want to give back to cancer foundations and childhood cancer, but why do you want to do that? And usually by the time you're about the 3rd question deep, you're going to start to bring that emotion up. So you don't even have to go 7 levels, because you're going to see that emotion pretty quick. And that's going to be part of your why. So when you ask me, why do you want to be able to also give back to cancer foundations? Because that's personal for me. My son was diagnosed, and see, that's all of that emotion comes up. And so those are my whys. Those are my big whys. And so that is what gets me out of bed every day and gets me going forward. So I think, you know, and what Jen said there in the chat, that is the make you cry why. And those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Is the question you ask yourself that previous question again and find out why. And go 7 levels deep. And you can Google it. He has a lot of really good videos too, but that's basically the fundamentals of it. So.
And then, you know, you can do that with your sponsor, but do that with your team too, you know, and help your people do that and then help them do that. That's the duplication part, and build that, you know, the why. With the why comes the vision and the belief. And that's you know, that's foundational to building something strong that you can then keep through your daily work and everything else. Very good, Tiff. Love that. David said, what are some fundamental tools you used to build your business, especially starting with limited social media following? That was definitely me and you, Tiff. Right?
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that's easy for me to talk about. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, for me, like, I don't know how many friends Jaime had, but I had limited social media following. I was deleting everybody left and right when we changed duty stations.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know if I was like, why do they care about me when we've moved or not? But I don't know. I think I've friended some again. So sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the tools I think you can use was, and starting out when I started out too, without much of a social media following, was just plugging in. I think that was the biggest thing, was plugging into, you know, our team calls, our Monday calls. Back when Jaime and I started, we had, like, y'all, corporate is amazing. Like, we had literally nothing. So imagine like an ancient, like, I don't even know what our virtual office, it was called a back office, and it looked nothing like it does now. And it was literally just the back office. We had no training, no tools. We had nothing. So use these resources that are available, because even if you don't have that social media following, you know, use like the Frank's list to memory jog to build your social media, but then be plugging into all the training on Facebook, all the training that's on YouTube, all of that. And that's really how we started growing our business, was just sharing with anybody and anyone, and just creating it. I mean, basically they call it, like, you know, earning as you learn, basically. What else do you want to add to that, James?
Well, and being limited with social media, for me, it was either 100 or 200 friends or whatever. It wasn't hardly nothing. I had just wiped through and deleted as many people as I could. And I was about to cancel my Facebook account, and I never posted, ever, hardly, ever. So to start off, and I don't know if you're meaning like how to actually utilize that then and grow through that, I just started off, even if it looked different or messy or whatever, I just started doing. Like, we didn't have as much social media training as we do now, whatever. I just copied what like Tiffany and Fallon were doing. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to have to start posting every day. And it was kind of awkward for me because I did not post regularly. And I literally went into posting 3 times a day. Yeah, Christy, you probably remember. And I was like, okay. And I remember even asking Christy's husband, Josh, this is weird, because we're really good friends. This is weird. Like, I'm posting 3 times a day. This is like an insane amount. And he's like, no, it's not. It's not weird. I'm like, well, for me it is. So it was just doing it anyway, because I knew that I needed to do certain things in order to be successful, because that's what they were doing. So I just started doing, in terms of getting more friends. I mean, for one, you have the community you have, or the people you know them best. You have those relationships. That's your warm market. I mean, you got something going on there, whatever it is. But I would just go and think, okay, well, who are friends that I unfollowed or unfriended? Who are people from like middle school, high school, old college people, friends of my sister, friends of my dad, friends of my mom, like just thinking of people in my social life that even if I knew who they were, and I started friending people that way to kind of build up, social media. And then obviously learning attraction marketing is important. And I feel like I was just talking about this today with some people. I feel like that term, unless you are comfortable with that, awesome. But if you're not, I feel like that can be a scary term. But it's not something that it means you have to be perfect at this. You have to look a certain way. You have to have the perfect post. It's really boils down to just being authentic and being you and being vulnerable and just sharing, and you learn as you go. And there's tons of tools out there and trainings now, which is awesome, but you can't move or do anything if you just don't move. So it was just kind of starting that way. I don't know if that answers your question. And then there's Facebook groups that you can come in, interest groups, join. There's a million things out there for every single thing in the world. Join them, interact, friend people. That's a great way to build. And then obviously Instagram is a huge platform as well. Best tips on creating amazing duplication, Tiff?
That's what I was just jotting down some notes. I think the biggest thing is consistency. Consistency. And then when you're duplicating that down, 3-way chats, 3-way calls, all of that is super, super important. And it doesn't matter if they don't want to be in a 3-way chat, because you don't know that because you didn't even add them in the 3-way chat. So don't assume that. That's the thing that I get a lot of times. Those 3-way chats and those 3-way calls are there for third-party validation. So I don't have to, be the best friend in there or be in there every day, but we're there to create a relationship with everyone so that when there is an issue or a problem arises, you're in there with a third party. Because the truth is, Fallon told me, you could do this business. But she was a friend. But when I got on the phone with Lori Welch, and Lori Welch, who I didn't even know, told me that I could make $75,000 a month, I was like, I could? So, I listened to Lori Welch. That is the whole entire reason I started doing this business, was not because of Fallon. She had built me up to that point with belief and duplicating that down. But it was Lori Welch getting on that call saying, hey, you can do this. I believe in you. And that was all it took for me to say, okay, I'm going to do this. And so I think those are 3 things that, your calls, chats, and then just being consistent, showing up every day, making sure that your team sees that, and being there, visible as a part of that is all important. I saw Suzanne, that was true. And what, girl?
And was that a phone call with Lori?
Yeah, so that was a phone call. I'll never forget it. I was walking, and I hadn't shared for several months. I had told Fallon, I'm getting these Starbucks drinks and I'm not drinking them anymore. And I'm eating all these strawberries, which Tiffany at the time would have never touched a strawberry. Packs of Smarties and all that stuff, I would have downed the heck out of. Strawberries, no way. My husband saw me cutting up fruits and vegetables and was like, what is going on? So, but I still didn't care what Fallon said. It was getting on the call. I was walking through Kohl's, and she was just like, hey, she didn't make it really complicated. She said, hey, I have a really great friend in this company. I would love for you just to pop on the phone so she could share your story. And then we're both here to help in any way we can. We want you to have success. And I'm telling you, when you can get on the phone and people can hear your voice and your passion, it's going to ignite a fire and passion in them. And they're going to believe what you're saying. They're going to see what you're saying. They're going to feel it. It's going to evict all the emotions. And so, when I got on that phone with her, walking through Kohl's, and she told me, and it wasn't a long call, maybe 15 minutes, maybe about that ish. And she told me that, and I was like, okay, I believe this. I instantly just believed it because somebody else believed in me, because I sure didn't have that belief. I couldn't even imagine making $10,000 a month, let alone her telling me $75,000 a month. So it's breathing belief into everybody that I think is so important in the business for duplication and all of that. And yes, calls. Chats are great, but we do our Monday accountability calls. And on that sheet, it says who have you called this week? Those are really where it is. And if you're struggling in parts of your business, I think implementing those calls more, you're going to see the change in your business.
And that was
Um,
100% me too, because when I started, it was a call
yeah.
with Fallon, and it was, I promise you, I would not have done this business if they did not specifically say, hey, we're going to the top. They mentioned the
Mhm.
company, they mentioned the products. They were 100% bold, 100% like, this is happening. We're going to top. You can come with us too. And I will tell you, I did not doubt
Mhm.
anything that they said. They were only gold. Many of you probably heard this before. They were only gold or senior gold at the time, silver, whatever it was. Those few. So you don't have to be a diamond to tell somebody and to have that belief that someone can go to the top. They were just starting out. Fallon had been stuck for a couple of years, but they spoke with such conviction that I had no doubt in my mind that they were going to go to the top. It was just a matter of, well, if they're going to the top and I copy exactly what they do, why can't I go to the top too? So that is powerful to speak. So when you talk to people on the phone too, be bold, be excited, be passionate, and have that vision, because creating that vision and that belief for people is that next step from developing maybe silvers or people who want to get their products paid for and then just kind of fizzle, or helping them get to the top because they have vision and purpose and belief and someone took the time to believe in them. Because I did not necessarily believe in myself. I wouldn't have done it on my own. So yeah, like Tiff said, get on the phone. I've had recently a couple things where we were on three-way chats or three-way phone call, and one was just signing someone up even, and just in the sign-up process, I was helping her sign up a level 2, and it got just conversation kind of went, and all of a sudden we're talking about doing the whole business and going to the top and all the things, and she's like, okay, like, so it just, conversation can flow, and you never know what you're going to find out. It'll be much harder to find that out in a three-way chat when it doesn't, necessarily flow like that. So three-way calls, whether you're in the sign-up process with someone to do it at that time, or after they sign up, like Tiff said, that kind of verbiage, just get on the phone, just make it be something. It's not like a business call. It's not uncomfortable. It's just something, hey, we're just gonna get on a chat. Like, what time works for you? Ask them what time. Don't just say, will you get on the call? Like, ask them what time works for you. Like, does tomorrow work at 3? Whatever. And just get talking. And, I think that's just, yeah, it's huge. Like Tiffany said too.
Yeah, and also real quick, I can assure you guys that we had no plan when we got on that phone with Jaime. We had no idea how we were getting to the top. We just knew we were going to the top. Like, we knew it, and you couldn't convince us otherwise. We knew we had products that worked. We knew we had a compensation plan that was out of this world. We knew that, we had belief in everything, belief in ourselves, the products, network marketing, and that's what we were doing. So we were just breathing that belief into Jaime. So
yes. And duplication, really quick statement, tagging, doing the things, whatever your sponsor's doing, or whatever the sponsor above that, or Jewel, or whatever people are doing, just do what they're doing. So getting your people the information, and then whatever you're doing, make sure your leaders are doing the same with their people. So don't forget to not only what you're learning, but to pass on what you're learning. Because I think that's an easy block that can sometimes hold people up in the business, because you're soaking it in and you're trying to like deal with what all you're getting in your head and trying to do that. But then all of a sudden we're trying to remember, okay, I have to now create people under me and pass that along and build them up too. So yeah, we should probably try and wrap this up in 10 minutes or less here, but October incentive, Tiff, should we wrap up with that?
Yes. All right. I was pulling all the details up, but October incentive is amazing. First of all, if you bought your sharing healthy, happy, hello box, you should have 4 codes. 4 codes?
I don't remember.
3 codes.
I don't know.
I got so excited, I thought I should have 4 codes.
So
you should have 3 codes. You can use those 3 codes until October 15th. So the time has not run out. Use those codes. Also, if you did the most recent incentive, check your emails that came through. Quick thing there. And then, so the other incentive is our deck the halls. So I'm sure y'all, there's a few charts that go around too. I know Suzanne had posted one for us the other day, But y'all, this is amazing. Like these incentives this month are crazy. Like if you have lost rank at all, like you need to be working that re-rank stuff. I'm like going all over here, but I'm so excited. There's the re-rank, which is going until October, that you can be re-ranking until October and earning all that money. I don't have that chart in front of me, but I do have the deck the halls. And y'all, that is add 12 people and you're getting like $1,300. Like that is insane. I'm looking at this now, like add 6. I added 6 people last month, and this month, if you add 6, you get $650. Like that is huge. So, I mean, these incentives are just amazing this month. And the things that are coming out at Leaders Retreat, I'm really excited for. Jamie and I know, spoiler alert, but and I'm actually going to be at Leaders Retreat. So everybody that's going to be at Leaders Retreat, I cannot wait to see you. And I'm excited that I'm going to be there to hear all of this launch and stuff. But you guys, these launches they're going to be good. It's going to be great for the businesses. It's going to be great for the holidays, all of this. This is a time, and think about this season too, especially with this incentive, y'all. This is a time the kids are back in school. Parents have some more free time. Maybe they're going to the gym, or maybe they're shuttling around. Maybe they're concerned about Christmas coming up and Halloween and Thanksgiving and overeating. This is like the perfect time to be getting people their Plexus. So it's definitely huge.
Mm-hmm. So tips with moving forward this month with the incentive. So it's massive. It's going on. Anyone can do this. Don't count yourself out. So 3 areas I think you need to focus on. 1, make sure you have identified your own goals. What are you going to do? You need to write it down. You need to identify, tell your sponsor for the month, how many joins are you going to get? Are you re-ranking? Do you have anybody on your team that can re-rank to silver or another rank? So identify your own goals. Then second is making sure you're reaching out to each person on your team if you have them, and being extremely bold. Please be bold about what this is and how big it is, and asking if you can help. There's probably even some verbiage floating around, but be bold with your team. And then like Jen just put in here, be bold with your potentials, because there is our opportunity is amazing all the time. So 100% be bold all the time, but to be able to add in this extra cash when people have the holidays coming up and Christmas, it's a really, really good timing. So find new runners that people you just can lock arms with and be like, hey, you work with me and let's do this for a month, and this is your potential that we can do, and you can dig in with them. So I think focusing and honing in on those areas is important, and you need to goal set with your people. So if you are talking weekly, if you're not doing coaching calls yet, start coaching calls with your upline and downline. And you can get help with how that works if you need to, but do the coaching calls weekly, set those up, hold yourself accountable with how things are going weekly. What do you need to change? If you weren't meeting the goal that you're setting for yourself this month, and you weren't meeting like those type of things the previous month, well, how does your activity need to change? Maybe you need to do more contacts. Maybe you need to do something different. And then what was I going to say? Tiff, anything with that? I'll remember what else I was going to say.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say that when off of Jamie's being bold, just remember that more people, y'all, are going to bed at night struggling with finances than they are about their health. Think about why people can't buy the products when they say they can't. It's because of their finances, right? That's one of the things that we hear. So be bold with that and lead with the business. That is really something a lot of people ask, well, what changed in your business? I sat stuck at Sapphire for 3 years. On my 4th year to the day that I hit, or my 3rd year to the day that I hit Sapphire, I hit Diamond. And what changed was I started being bolder with the business and leading with the business. And I had that belief. So I think that is, that's a big part of this too. Remember, just think about what that, like Jamie said, what that cash can do for these people through the holidays. And, I think I heard someone someone say it? I don't know. But so, before you go out and you think about getting a second job, Fallon had made a post. Before you go out and you think about getting a second job, there was like a breakdown posted. But look at that breakdown for the money and the things that you can do with this business opportunity. So, yeah, this season is a struggle for so many. So I think remembering that and serving our leadership onto others is what we want to be doing, helping others and the joy that that brings. I've seen so many on my team through the years have a nice Christmas and be able to do things with their families because of Plexus. So think about that joy and giving back when you're reaching out to people, and be bold in sharing about this with them. Not just products, even though life-changing, even more life-changing for a family could be that extra $100 a month, because that $100 for us at the time was getting us out of a hole with credit cards back 4 years ago. So that $100 made a difference for us. I got excited, y'all, when I saw 24 cents. Maybe that's just my personality, but I was excited about it. I said, why are they paying me 24 cents, girl? True story. That was like my first mini Plexus pay before I worked. I don't even know how I got 24 cents, but all right. So what did you wanted to add, James?
No, that's good. And if being bold is out of your comfort zone, or doing any of the things, reaching out with the business first is out of your comfort zone, or people on your chicken list that you think that they would be amazing, but you haven't reached out to them yet, is out of your comfort zone, then I tell you what, that is exactly what you have to do. So find those things that are making you uncomfortable, or what's, kind of you've been skirting around, and just do it, because again, it's doing things afraid, or doing things anyway, and learning as you grow and getting more bold. And I'm not naturally a bold person, but I've grown into that more, and that comes with belief. It comes with doing things afraid and all those things too. So, and I was going to say too, if you're like my personality, taking it outside of yourself. If you're thinking about yourself, you're going to be worrying what people think, or worrying about this, or worrying about that. If you take it outside of yourself and it's not about you, then it's about them. And then you have no ground to stand on. You have no excuses, because it's not about you. It's not what anybody thinks of you or what you could be saying. It's about them and you trying to do something to help somebody else. And you have nothing else, is more important. So.
Yes. And if you have a chicken list, go to your chicken list people first, y'all. Do not make that a chicken list. Literally, I have taken that list and I've been like, click, closed my eyes and sent. And I've literally closed my eyes. And then I avoided my computer for a few hours. But it's okay. That's good. You did it and you sent the message. So do that, especially this time of year, because those chicken list people, I've been surprised at, oh my gosh, they're interested. They really want this business too. Amazing things have happened. So,
and quick tip too start front loading now. It's so easy to do that final push at the end and be like, okay, I really want to get this now. A few days left. I'm going to make it happen. Do it now. Act like today is urgent. Act like tomorrow is urgent. Start now. I promise it matters. And be consistent. And, if you are going to leaders retreat, please try and do a consistent amount of work while you're there. I know it's tough. I know you have to enjoy and unplug too, but I was just talking to Tiffany about this, but she had pointed out from Jake that some trends do show when you're, at convention or at some of these things, it can pull back a little bit on some activity or some how things are going with momentum. So don't let that be something that pulls you back because you completely unplug for a week or something. So do the consistent work, hold yourself accountable that shows good stuff, and enjoy your time too there, of course. And then, yes, pretend like the 15th is the 30th, Jen. Yes. So
I love that. Yes, I think that's all good. Do we have any other questions?
Everything good, you guys? Any other things quick? Oh, we sell the business on people before. Oh, Tiff, do you want to quick answer that? How do you sell the business on people before they've tried the products?
So I think a lot of that, my favorite thing to say to people, I lead with the business a lot. So most of my messages and my things are tailored towards just bringing up the business and asking people if they're looking for a way to create financial margin. But what I tell people is, honey, you don't need a testimony of your own. Look at the thousands of testimonies out here. These products work. They are science. That's literally what I tell to everybody. Why do you feel that you need to try the products first? And, a lot of times it's fear from people. You'll find is they just they're fearful of what someone would think, or that ends up just usually being an excuse type of thing. And what Fallon had always said too in the beginning was, again, borrowing that belief from the people and the testimonies you see and the lives changed and all of that. I think that's the biggest way to sell the business before they tried the products. Because really, I'm like, Fallon will talk about how she didn't take the products for months, like months and months and months, and she was just selling them. So you don't have to, you want to take them and you're going to love them, but, don't feel, there's even people that have been out there and they've got the products started, but then they had to get a few people before they could share more because of the finances and stuff. So, just taking that belief and letting people know, like, hey, these are our clinical trials. These are our doctors. These are our studies. These products work. It's science. You can do this. Like, I'm here to help you, back you up. You've got all of us here.
I just go back to thinking, well, like if it was me and I just started, well, I just chose to start because I saw testimonies and product information. So if I just chose to start, I didn't try the products already. I haven't even tried them yet. And I made that decision to start. So obviously someone else can start with you without having tried the products, because that's what you did, like for the same exact reasons you started, because you saw testimonies or product information or whatever. So start as accountability partner. I think that's very important for results. Even there's statistics that show that, but grab someone and link arms. Another thing, putting it into perspective, if you heard, you have a friend coming to the area and they want, a place to eat, a recommendation. What's a really great place to eat? Well, I haven't eaten, maybe you haven't eaten there, but your friend has been raving about it for months. Are you not going to want to tell your other friend about it, a restaurant? Because, well, I haven't eaten there yet, so maybe it's not good. So I'm not going to tell my friend about this restaurant that everybody and their brother in this town is raving about, like it's the same thing. If other people are raving about it, that doesn't mean that that's not true, or that, I have to first taste the clam chowder first before I'm going to believe these 20 other people and recommend it to my friend. You know what I mean? So perspective, I think some people just get in their heads a little bit. I think if you can be excited for them and have perspective and not let that be like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay. Like don't let that close you down. Just be like, oh, like Tiffany's amazing with that, with everything. Like, oh really? What? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, talk and move on, so I think that.
I'm definitely bold, I think, in asking the questions like, oh, well, what's wrong over there? Why don't you want to share before? And I think that's a big thing. And I know Val's on here, and Val didn't share for a long time. And I know she kicks herself now and she's doing great now, but like, that's the thing, is that you miss out on so much opportunity there too, all in timing, but still, truly, it's really as simple as saying, hey, do you know a few friends that would do this with you, or family members, like what Jamie just mentioned? It's really just as simple as that, because it is more fun with people doing this with us. So yeah, all good points too, James.
Good. Well, I know we're keeping you late. Anybody else want to hear anything else, or we'll stop talking your ear off? So, well, this was fun. If it's helpful, to do this more often once in a while, but.
Yes, loved it.
So, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, we will plan this more. Maybe we can do like a monthly thing or something. It's been like good number, good group. I liked it. Well, all right. Awesome. Jaime and I will brainstorm and hear from y'all too.
Thank you.
All right.
Guys.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.